Hey, this is Lee Waller. I'm going to take a look at how to sync audio with video. There's three different techniques that I'm going to look at. The first will be using a Slate. The second will be using timecode. And then the third will be using audio. This clip is from the short film Lawn that was written and directed by Matt Fisher. When using a Slate to sync the audio and video files together, of course, on set, the Slate needed to be used. You'll see here in this shot that we have the Slate and it's about to be clapped, and we have time code on the Slate, but we also have our scene and take. So it's 24 beta 7. I'm going to play through this. At the point that the Slate is clapped, that's where we want to sync. So I'm going to back up just a little bit, find that frame, and I'm going to set an endpoint for this. And now I'm going to drag that clip down into the timeline. This clip has audio tracks to it, but there was no audio recorded to this, so I'm going to delete those. I'm going to right-click on it, select Unlink, and select those audio tracks and delete them. Now I'm going to go to the associated audio file that goes with this video. I'm going to double-click on it, and I'm going to play through it.
24 beta, take 7.
And that's the audio information that I want. I'm going to zoom in using the plus key on my keyboard to find that. Now I'm going to back up just a little bit using my left arrow key. And there's where that frame is that I want to sync with the video. So I'm going to set an endpoint right there. And now I'm going to drag this audio down in and drop it right there. Those two are now in sync with each other. I'm going to drag through just to check this a little bit.
Terry's lawnmower crapped out on me.
Let me call Deanna's nephew, please.
Whatever.
And to make sure that they stay together, I'm going to link them together. So I do need to first unlink the audio tracks, and then I'll select everything and link it together. Now this clip is synced, and wherever I move it, they'll stay together, and that audio and video will stay in sync.
Terry's lawnmower crapped out on me.
So that is using the Slate to sync with. You can see that it takes a little bit of time, but if it is the only way, it definitely will work. I'm going to delete this. The next way that I'm going to sync these two will be to use timecode. Each of these files were recorded on set with timecode being fed to them. So you can see timecode right here on the audio clip. I'll scrub through that. And then I'll jump back to the video clip. I'm going to go in here and clear out that in and out point real quick. But you can see that this track also has timecode on it, very similar to the audio track. I'm going to go ahead and drag this into the timeline and get rid of those audio tracks that I don't need. And I will bring in the audio tracks, and I'm just going to select everything, right click on it, and go to synchronize. You see a few options there, and we want timecode. I'm going to hit OK on that. And Premiere then lines up based on the timecode of each of these files, the video file and the audio file. It lines up the audio and video together. Now when I go back in here, I can take a look at
24 beta,
Slate,
take 7.
and you see that's in sync, and then I can jump into the footage
Terry's lawnmower crapped out on me.
and see that that is in sync. Again, I need to make sure that these are linked together, so I'm going to unlink the audio files, select everything, and link it all together. And now that clip, wherever I move it, is ready to go and is in sync.
Terry's lawnmower crapped out on me.
For this next example, I'm going to use the audio from two different sources to sync up the audio and video. One source is the audio on the camera, and the other is from an external recorder. All right, so in this example that I have right in front of you, I've already accomplished that. So I'm going to just delete these files and start over. So up here, I have the footage that I shot right there. And I'll bring that in to the timeline, drop it in. And then the audio that I recorded on the computer using an external mic is right here. I'm going to drag that in and drop it into the timeline. And I'm just going to select those two files, right click on them, and then go to synchronize. Make sure that audio is selected. It's going to scan through real quick. It's going to find the matching audio and sync the two of them together. From that point, you can zoom in and we can trim this up a little bit. Delete that. Actually, it starts right there. And then here at the end of it. And if I want to, let's take a listen.
Use the audio from two different sources to sync up the
Let me unmute that first track.
audio from two different sources to sync up the audio.
So this top line here is the audio from the camera. And
Use the audio from two different sources to sync up the audio.
And then the bottom track here is from the mic
and
that was
video.
closer.
One source
better
is
quality.
the audio on the camera.
So if I want to, once it's synced, I can just drag. If I want to get rid of this camera audio, I can just drag the external audio over it and then link those two together. And now that clip is ready to go. Let me unmute that.
Two different sources to sync up the audio and video. One source.
I hope this tutorial has been helpful. For more on Premiere and After Effects, check out my other tutorials.